What it do, citizens of P-Town? You know what this is. This is none other than my review of the film Didi, directed by Sean Wang, and it stars Isaac Wang as our titular younger brother character, Chris Wang, and also starring Joan Chen as the mother. So let's go ahead and jump into this review. I wanted to review this movie. Well, first and foremost, as far as posting on my channel goes and what I decide to review, I thought that why not try to promote a film that I want more eyes on. And, spoiler, I don't think that this is the film of the year by any means, but I do think it provides just enough for you to check out. And I think that you should check out these low budget films. This is by an Asian American filmmaker in his directorial debut, depicting an Asian American story. Um, I think you should definitely support this film if you can. And I think it is very much worth your time. So that's kind of the TLDR. Let's get into the specifics of this review. Didi tells the story of Chris Wang, who is a 13-year-old going on 14-year-old living in Fremont, California. And this film takes place the summer right before high school. So when you think about the transition period between middle school and high school, especially if you're from California, that would be from ages 13 to 14, you can already begin to imagine the coming of age transition and growth that you may have had in your life. And this film is depicting exactly that. So I do have some, like I said, I don't think this is my favorite film of 2024 by any means, but I do have a lot of good things to say about this film. And so first and foremost, I liked what this covered. One flaw of this film is that it is very stereotypical, but I think that one thing it does well is the themes and the tone and the topics it tries to cover. And first and foremost, this is definitely a early 2000s nostalgia film. There's so much imagery regarding technology and references in this film to growing up in the early 2000s, specifically MySpace, as well as, you know this, if you know, you know, but when you are idle from your computer or AFK, the pipes, they're like the orange pipes that kind of come up on your screen. That the chess icon when you log into your Microsoft computer, the green lawn, you know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about. Imagery like that with technology is layered throughout this film. It's definitely trying to capture that early 2000s nostalgia. I think it does it pretty convincingly, pretty well. I did grow up in the 2000s as well. And also another thing that this film captures is not just the coming of age experience of growing up, but also the Asian American experience too. And I think one reason why I think this is special in its own way and why you should check it out. It does depict the Asian American experience. Some of the themes that Didi tries to cover, well, one of them that I think is very prominent is the roles within a family, specifically the mother. When you think of the roles in the family, you think of, at least conventionally, not how it should be, but conventionally the father is seen to have the most important role because he is out there, he's working hard, he's making money, he's getting money for the family to put a roof over their heads, to put food on the table. They're not faulted if they're away all the time and not present with the family because they're trying to provide for the family. That's the traditional outlook on it. And the traditional outlook on the mother is that, yeah, they stay at home, they take care of the family. It's not as important because they're not out there making money and then they're just at home and doing stuff all the time. Once again, that's the traditional narrow minded outlook on it. But this film does really well at presenting the mother as an important role, which it is. I mean, the mother is played great by Joan Chen. She's at home. She's taking care of the kids. She's the one actually raising them. She is going to be there for the kids for both the good and the bad moments. That is an extremely crucial role that goes a long way for these kids, and you can see that in this film. So that's one really interesting thing that I thought this film covered. And another thing, especially going back to kind of the coming of age themes, another thing that I liked what this film covered is, I would have to say, the changing of relationships and the people in your life. Whether or not it's the decisions you make or just the passage of time moving as it inevitably does, a combination of both, if we're being real. But with those two things, the decisions you make of how you talk with people and you interact with your friends and family, and just time moving, the people in your life are going to change. Whether or not it's the people who have been in your life for so long, they might leave. Your best friends might not always be your best friends. Um, your close family relationships. So your sister might not be at home all the time. She might go away to college, as presented in this film. You know, someone who is supposed to be family, someone supposed to be in your life forever, may not always be in your life all the time forever. That is depicted in this film, as well as new people in your life. They might stay in your life for a while, or they might also be temporary. Sometimes you don't know, and you might not know unless you say the wrong thing, or once again, time just moves. And when you're a kid and you look around and you see that the people in your life aren't the same as they were before, when you're young, you never get the chance to acknowledge it. You never get the chance to say, "Hey, what happened? Why aren't things the same as they used to be?" And you just have to internalize it, and you just kind of have to move on. You have to kind of be like, okay. And I thought that that was a very tender part of growing up that was captured very well in this film. Once again, both the good and the bad aspects of that. And it's not something that I really picked up and registered until like the credits rolled. But I think that going into this film, that is definitely something to look out for. Yeah, so I think that it does well in the coming of age aspect there. Let's talk about the lead performance from Isaac Wang. I thought he was great in this film. Very specifically, I liked his performance during the very quiet moments, the moments where he's just kind of staring and just kind of taking information in or internalizing something. Or it could just be awkwardness for comedic effect, because of that awkward, humor, the awkward interactions he might have with people. Isaac is so good in quiet moments. He's so good in awkward moments. The way that he like kind of purses his lips, the way that his eyes just kind of like wander. I think he's very good, once again, comedically, for those awkward moments that you get with a kid and he just says stupid things or embarrasses himself. I think that's very funny and done very well, as well as the very, and I wouldn't say intense, but the moments of melodrama where he has to internalize being the least wanted kid in the room, for example, or knowing that he said the wrong thing and he has to just internalize it. I think that he was really great in this film. Um, as far continuing on to good stuff, good comments, this film I think worked actually better as a comedy. I think that at first the juvenile humor is kind of off-putting because I'm an adult, but also when I kind of remembered that I either made similar jokes and humor when I was a kid or laughed at these types of jokes, I did kind of buy into the humor pretty consistently in the beginning of this film. There's a running gag in Didi involving a mailbox and a certain animal, and I honestly could not get enough of that gag. It was absolutely hilarious. It's kind of shown in the top left corner right here. It if you when you see the movie, you'll know exactly what it is. But I could not get enough of that gag. It was absolutely hilarious. I do think that the humor is pretty fun in this movie, and especially when the characters, the young characters, are bouncing off each other in the juvenile ways. There's a Bofa joke in this film, and once again, maybe it's dated, maybe it's eye roll worthy, but once again, when you realize that these are 13-year-olds, I can't say that's too far off of that 13-year-old humor experience. I think that Didi captures many universal experiences well, and I've covered a lot of them throughout this review so far. And so, yeah, I mean, as far as to get the flaws out of the way, this film is kind of stereotypical. It does go through some very familiar coming of age beats that you're all used to. For example, of course, there is a scene in which a young kid tries drugs for the first time. We've seen that many times before. I think that other times the emotional development between the characters doesn't feel earned. I guess the drama doesn't feel always earned. You don't always know exactly um, where the family members are at as far as the relationships go, which is specifically the Chris Wang, his sister, and his mother. It's not always the clearest. So sometimes when there's emotional development or emotional beats in the film, the drama isn't always earned. Sometimes it feels very awkward what the characters are latching onto, what they're getting mad at. I think that comes up in this film. But that does it as far as flaws go. I think this is overall a very good film, a very enjoyable coming of age story, and definitely one that you should check out if you're very interested. I haven't really implemented a rating system yet. I probably should, but if I'm going to do more film reviews. But either way, I gave this a 4 stars on Letterboxd. I think it's worth your time. Definitely check out this small budget film, this Asian American film. And yeah, that does it for my review. Really enjoyed Didi overall. Definitely check this out. Have you seen it? Let me know what you think of it if you have seen it. And go check it out and let me know your thoughts down below. Comment your current favorite movies of 2024. What have you seen or you're looking forward to seeing? Look out for more movie reviews as well in the future. Thank you all for watching, and I'll catch y'all later.